In the harsh, sun-baked expanse of the Arizona Territory in 1878, the land itself seemed to breathe stories of hardship and mystery. Beneath an endless sky, the rugged, unyielding terrain stretched out, a canvas painted in shades of red and gold, where every rock and crevice held ancient secrets. The Devil's Own Canyon, a treacherous maze carved by the relentless forces of nature over countless years, lay at the heart of this vast wilderness. Its walls whispered legends of lost fortunes and forgotten curses. The shimmering heat on the horizon mingled with the cool whisper of desert winds, creating an atmosphere charged with both calm and impending turmoil. This canyon, with its towering rock formations and hidden alcoves, had long been shrouded in myth and fear. Local tales spoke of a cursed Spanish gold mine buried deep within its labyrinth, guarded by spirits that defied the natural order. Travelers passing near the canyon's edge felt a subtle shift in time, as though the very land held memories of a bygone era when hope and greed battled amid the rugged outcrops. The desert was a relentless teacher, imparting wisdom through its silence and the stark beauty of its jagged silhouettes. As the sun dipped lower, casting long, eerie shadows, the landscape embraced both the harsh light of day and the seductive mystery of night. Every grain of sand and every weathered stone bore testimony to centuries of conflict and fortune. In this relentless land, where the boundary between myth and reality blurred, the stage was set for a tale of adventure, destiny, and redemption that would soon unfold within the ominous depths of the Devil's Own Canyon. Throughout this wilderness, every whisper of the wind and every flicker of light seemed to hint at secrets yet unrevealed, drawing the curious and the brave alike into a world where destiny was as inexorable as the desert itself. Long before the outlaws and bounty hunters roamed these lands, legends of the Devil's Own Canyon were woven into the fabric of local lore. Whispers of a fabled Spanish gold mine hidden within the labyrinth of red rock had echoed through generations, captivating the hearts and minds of those desperate for fortune. Ancient tales spoke of greedy conquistadors who once searched for untold wealth beneath the scorching sun, only to be met by a curse that would claim their souls. As the story went, the mine's riches were fiercely guarded by supernatural forces, phantom guardians and restless spirits destined to punish any who sought the treasure. Over time, the narrative grew in embellishment and intensity, merging historical events with elements of myth and magic. The canyon, with its enigmatic glow and creeping shadows, became a symbol of not only lost treasure but also of nature's indomitable will. Locals recounted eerie occurrences, travelers described uncanny voices echoing from unseen crevices, and many reported feeling an inexplicable chill while standing beneath the towering rock formations. This blend of natural wonder and spectral mystery made it clear that the canyon was no ordinary chasm, but a living relic of a past steeped in both opulence and despair. In hushed tones around flickering campfires, elders recounted haunting stories of men driven mad by greed and the wrath of an ancient curse. They narrated how time seemed to warp within the canyon, with moments stretching interminably as if the very fabric of reality was unspooling itself. The legend served as both a warning and an allure, a hidden promise of riches intertwined with the peril of facing forces beyond mortal comprehension. Each retelling deepened the myth, casting a long shadow over those who dared approach its daunting entrance. Thus, the Devil's Own Canyon emerged not merely as a geographical feature, but as a character in its own right, a silent keeper of secrets, a relentless guardian of time's mysteries, inviting fortune seekers and dreamers to test their fates against its enduring curse. The legend continued to grow, weaving an intricate tapestry of wonder and inevitable danger beyond measure. Amidst the darkening horizon of the Arizona Territory arose a scheme woven with menace and ambition. Blackjack, a notorious outlaw whose scarred visage and mysterious past had earned him a reputation both feared and revered, led a band of ruthless desperados with audacious precision. His plan was as cunning as it was brutal: the abduction of the daughter of a prominent railroad baron. This act, a calculated move against the powerful elite, served not only as leverage but also as a catalyst for chaos across the frontier. Blackjack's strategy was meticulously crafted. His men, hardened by years of outlaw life, moved silently under the veil of twilight, their actions orchestrated with military precision. They took advantage of the canyon's notorious reputation, its very name sending ripples of terror across towns, to mask their treacherous endeavor. Each step was planned to perfection, From the initial ambush on the unsuspecting carriage to the swift movement through clandestine passes and hidden trails that twisted through the canyon's heart. The dark motives driving this act of kidnapping were interlaced with the tantalizing promise of elusive gold, a lure potent enough to blind even the most disciplined of hearts. As twilight succumbed to the inky embrace of night, the outlaws executed their plan with eerie calm. The desert, already a realm of unforgiving beauty and hidden dangers, became a silent accomplice to their crime. Every footprint left behind, every rustle of the arid brush conveyed a story of impending doom. The kidnapped daughter, taken in a swift, calculated moment, became both a bargaining chip and a symbol of Blackjack's unyielding defiance. The act was not merely criminal but a deliberate declaration of war against a society built on precarious alliances and untold riches. In that fateful moment, the corridor of fate was altered, setting the stage for a confrontation that would echo through the canyons and carve legends into the very stone of the land. Under relentless desert stars, the calculated act of kidnapping set in motion a chain of events that would entwine the outlaws' fate with those pursuing justice in the wild. Emerging from the expanse of solitude and regret was Caleb, the preacher, Thorne, a bounty hunter whose very presence embodied the struggle between redemption and the haunting weight of a troubled past. Known by the moniker, the preacher, due to the silent sermons his actions delivered to both outlaws and lawmen alike, Caleb had traded his collar for a six-shooter and the promise of penance. Torn by memories of former transgressions and the loss of innocence under the harsh glare of frontier justice, he wandered the unforgiving desert seeking a measure of absolution for his sins. His steps were measured, his gaze steely and resolute, as he traversed the rugged pathways that crisscrossed the wild landscape. Caleb's reputation preceded him, whispered in the saloons and campfires where men traded tales of valor and sorrow. His journey was one born of both necessity and a deep internal calling, a dangerous pilgrimage through lands that were as brutal as they were beautiful. With every dusty mile, the bounty hunter carried the weight of those he had failed and the hope of atonement that drove him ever forward. His eyes, though hardened by battle, reflected a soul seeking salvation amidst the ruins of his own making. Deep inside his heart, Caleb was haunted by the specter of a past shrouded in blood and regret. Yet, in his relentless pursuit of justice and the kidnapped girl, he embraced the possibility of a future forged from the ashes of redemption. Every step he took through the canyon was a silent prayer, every encounter a reminder of the duality of his existence, between sin and virtue, between life and legend, and ultimately, between the unforgiving wilderness and the fragile hope of renewal. Driven by an inner fire and a resolve that refused to be extinguished by the harsh realities of his past, Caleb pressed onward, each footstep echoing his silent vow to reclaim honor and deliver salvation to those ensnared by fate's cruel hand. In the solitude of dusk, his journey became a testament to resilience, a chronicle written in dust and blood under the relentless desert gaze. Entering the Devil's Own Canyon was like stepping into a realm where nature itself conspired to test the mettle of those daring enough to traverse its depths. The journey began under a sky painted with the muted colors of dawn, where the first rays of sunlight clawed at the rocky facades and illuminated hidden crevices. The canyon's narrow passages twisted unpredictably, presenting both breathtaking natural beauty and perilous challenges. Caleb found himself navigating tight ledges carved by centuries of erosion, while the ancient walls towered above like silent sentinels, their rugged surfaces etched with the scars of time. As the bounty hunter pressed deeper into the labyrinth, the environment revealed its duplicitous character. Sudden, violent dust storms would erupt without warning, blinding his vision and disorienting his sense of direction. In these moments, the canyon seemed to possess a life of its own, its echoing roars and shifting sands orchestrating a sinister symphony of chaos. Venomous snakes nestled in the crevices, their sinuous forms disappearing into the shadows, while unseen hazards lurked around every bend. The ground, thick with treacherous gravel and hidden sinkholes, tested the physical endurance and unwavering resolve of those who dared its path. Every step further into the canyon deepened the mystery surrounding its legend. Ancient petroglyphs carved into the stone hinted at forgotten rituals and sacrifices made to appease the spirits said to dwell in the depths. The interplay of light and shadow created illusions that toyed with Caleb's mind, making it difficult to discern reality from the reveries of myth. With every heartbeat, the canyon seemed to whisper warnings of impending doom, as if the very air was imbued with an otherworldly presence determined to reclaim its secrets. In this relentless pursuit, the journey transformed into a harrowing test of will. The combination of natural perils and the unsettling influence of the canyon forged an experience that was both physically exhausting and mentally disorienting, preparing Caleb for the inevitable confrontation that lay ahead, where every moment could be his last. As the canyon's oppressive silence mingled with the roiling winds, Caleb's heart pounded like a distant drum, echoing the ancient pulse of the earth. Each echo felt like a prophecy, foretelling that every step taken was a descent deeper into both the canyon's enigmatic past and his own uncertain future. The desolate beauty and hidden terrors converged, urging him onward into an unforgiving destiny. In the heart of the Devil's Own Canyon, fate reached a boiling point as the paths of outlaw and bounty hunter converged in a tension-filled melee of destiny. The atmosphere was charged with raw emotion, the very air trembling under the weight of impending conflict. Caleb, the preacher, Thorne, with the resolute determination etched into every line of his weathered face, moved with quiet precision towards the dark assembly of Blackjack's gang. The canyon walls bore silent witness to this impending showdown, their ancient stone recording each subtle shift in the battle's cadence. The confrontation unfolded with a relentless intensity that seemed both orchestrated and spontaneous. Blackjack, ever the enigmatic figure marked by scars and hardened resolve, led his men into a fierce clash that echoed like thunder through the narrow passages. What began as an ambush escalated into a full-blown confrontation, with each side driven by motives as complex as the labyrinth they found themselves within. Amidst the relentless exchange of lead and grit, the canyon resonated with the grim symphony of survival, the clashing of metal, the echoing gunshots, and the murmuring wind carrying the cries of a long-forgotten struggle. As the battle raged, time appeared to dilate, with each heartbeat marking a moment fraught with danger and destiny. Caleb's every move was a study in calculated defiance, his resolve tempered by past failures and the unyielding will to save the kidnapped girl. The very landscape seemed to mold itself to the chaos of the conflict, narrow ledges and rocky outcroppings providing both cover and lethal traps. In that decisive moment, the physical clash became intertwined with a spiritual war, as if the canyon itself chose sides in the eternal struggle between light and dark. When the final echoes of gunfire faded into a haunting silence, both hero and villain faced the grim aftermath. The ancient walls, bearing the scars of battle, remained impartial arbiters of fate, their cold faces reflecting the tragedy and the cost of such relentless vengeance. Under a sky heavy with the burden of history, each passing moment became a vivid page in an epic written in blood and honor, where the clash of wills was as inexorable as the desert winds and as immortal as the canyon itself. Every heartbeat of the earth echoed with the promise of retribution, binding the fighters to a destiny carved in rugged stone in timeless defiance forever. As the echoes of battle slowly receded, the canyon settled into a somber silence that spoke volumes of the turmoil recently endured. In the wake of the confrontation, the desert reclaimed its serenity, though not without bearing testimony to the scars left behind. The kidnapped girl, now safe but forever changed by the ordeal, became a living symbol of hope emerging from the crucible of violence. Blackjack and his outlaw band, their ambitions thwarted and their fates sealed by the inexorable hand of justice, were left to face the bitter consequences of their greed. Caleb, the preacher, Thorne, though victorious in his relentless pursuit, bore the heavy weight of his own inner battles. Each wound, both seen and unseen, reminded him of a past filled with regret and the ever-present specter of redemption. The man who had once traded his collar for retribution now stood amidst the wreckage of shattered alliances, his eyes reflecting the profound cost of the life he had chosen. The canyon, as if in silent approval, preserved every detail of the fierce struggle, a saga etched into its stony facade for eternal remembrance. In the aftermath, the boundary between myth and reality blurred, leaving behind a legacy that transcended mortal conflict. Whispers of the Devil's Own Canyon's curse and its uncanny ability to shape destiny spread like wildfire, echoing through small towns and rugged homesteads far beyond the vast reaches of the desert. The land returned to its ancient rhythms, yet every rock and crevice seemed to murmur of the lives intertwined with its fate. In that quiet aftermath, hope and sorrow danced in a delicate balance, promising that while vengeance might be fleeting, the echoes of honor and the lessons of the past would endure forever. Thus, the story of the Devil's Own Canyon carved itself into the annals of legend, A reminder that beneath every act of brutality lies the possibility of redemption, and that the relentless forces of nature and time spare no one in their inexorable march towards destiny. In the fading light of dusk, the enduring legacy of the canyon was etched into every heart, a solemn reminder that justice, though delayed, always finds its way through the crucible of time.